12 people on board, carrying a modest amount of humanitarian aid. And we were violently attacked. We were surrounded by boats. Drones, quadcopters came above the boat. The communications were cut, and white chemical was sprayed all over the boat. And then the boat was attacked by, I presume, Israeli Marines or commandos. They attacked, secured the boat, and they then kidnapped the people. We were unable to maintain any communication with them for some period whilst they were, we find out now, detained below the level of the boat in the hull, and they were then taken very slowly. It took 10, 20 hours to even get to port, and then they were transferred to Israeli prisons and disappeared for a period of time. And this is an act of, it seems like an act of piracy on the high seas. There's a British flag on the back of the boat, and it's been attacked. And the silence of many countries in the world is absolutely extraordinary, where you have an unarmed vessel traveling, as you said earlier, in line with the orders of the International Court of Justice to deliver humanitarian aid and take some love and solidarity and break this illegal siege. The Israelis were ordered to exit the Gaza Strip by the International Court of Justice, and they failed to. So we're just doing what I suppose what governments should be doing. They should be sailing in, and they should be opening up the borders, the maritime borders, and also the land borders. And what we do is try to break this siege.
You are no stranger to the type of action that we've seen come through from the Israeli regime, where previously in 2016, we know the Gaza Zaytouna-Oliva was the object of a seizure as well, and also an object of court proceedings in Israel as well, and also at the same time looking at many other flotillas that have actually come through in aid of the people of Gaza. Now, you are no stranger, and just from your understanding and your analysis of what has happened, was this expected?
We were expecting a variety of. I'm sorry,
James. Yes, I'm just. Zohar, I think your mic is muted.
Yeah, sorry. I also thought that maybe the question was directed to James, but as James was saying, since the beginning of this escalation of the genocide, we have been trying to sail, and we actually had much graver concerns. We thought that the boat could be attacked, like our boat, the Conscience, was attacked just outside of Malta on the 2nd of May. That was a drone attack that actually bombed the boat and disabled it completely before it was able to load the participants and most of the participants and the humanitarian aid that was prepared in Malta and was going to board the ship. So we thought anything could happen. They could have sent a torpedo our way. I think we have chosen the right moment with media attention on us and with different initiatives also preparing to put pressure on Israel to allow aid in also through the Rafah border with the march to Gaza and the convoy, the Sumud convoy from North Africa. And we actually put them in a position, like we always do without direct nonviolent action, of having to react to what we do while our governments fail to do what they should do. And the fact that it was an interception in international water, much further than other interceptions that we've experienced, did not really surprise us. The bad treatment that our activists receive in the Israeli jail is nothing compared to the suffering of Palestinian prisoners in their thousands who've been also kidnapped from their homes in the West Bank, in Gaza, and put through torture, have been starved to death. This should really be the focus of what we're talking about. Of course, we want all our activists to return safely home, but the fact that they were willing to risk their life is a testimony to what humanity should really be doing in the face of this genocide. Thank you.
We cannot hear you.
Sümeyra, Zohar makes a very, very telling point in terms of the activists willing to risk their lives. And for someone like yourself and also the wife of Shoaib Ordu as well, I think, this is very, very important. And if you could possibly just share, an insight into the risks that are taken, and I'm sure, Umar must have discussed this with you as well. And if you could just take us through, some of the developments leading up to when the Madeleine had actually started sailing, and what sort of discussions had taken place, between yourself and Umar as well, just in terms of the risk factor in itself.
Yeah. Thank you as first. So I'm just since last year in the Freedom Flotilla coalition with my husband, and we tried it many times, but we know from Zohar that they are more active, and it began on 2008. So when we joined the Freedom Flotilla coalition, we tried it on April 2024 in Istanbul, and we were really many people, 500 if I remember right, and we were from 52 countries, members, volunteers, activists. So we tried it, even if we knew that it might be very riskful. What kind of risks? We know it, especially from the moment 15 years ago from Mavi Marmara. They killed 10 volunteers from the Freedom Flotilla coalition. And we saw the risks. We saw also what kind of reaction the governments had to this. It's also really political, because we want to challenge all the governments who are passive and don't do anything about this genocide, about this suffering. So we didn't give up. After Istanbul, we tried it in Malta with the Conscience ship, and Israel has bombed our ship with 2 drones. And now we had the mission where my husband is still detained in the prison in Ramleh. And yes, we're waiting.
Yes, I think for some reason we have lost Sümeyra. But let's just continue, James. And I think from what Sümeyra was describing, and we're talking about the risk factor. Now, we knew early on, when this genocide had already started unfolding, that Gaza will be changing the world forever. And we've seen this change right across the entire world. Millions have come out onto the streets, voicing their concerns and also voicing their emotions when they see this genocide that is unfolding. And we've seen so much happen in the last 20-odd months or so, to the extent now, together with the flotilla, the latest now, we're actually seeing this whole drive through some of the countries in Africa, through Tunisia, Libya, Morocco, and going into Egypt. We know that there is this march to the Rafah crossing as well, many people from right across the entire world. So we've seen this change, and also looking at how Gaza has actually changed activism. And just from your perspective, and I know that this obviously will not deter you, it will not deter the Flotilla coalition, but it will just basically strengthen the activism and the protests and the disgust that people are actually feeling right across the entire world as to what is unfolding in Gaza right now.
Yeah, really. It's just because of that we know that when we are passive to all the people who are killing innocent people, innocent kids, when we are passive about these situations, we are then not a human, and we just try to be as a human as we have to be. So it's not ethical to just watch these videos, to just say, oh, it's so sad, I'm praying for them. We just wanted to make more than pray, because we also say this in Islam, that we have two kinds of praying, and one is just with the mouth, and one is with our acting, and the acting pray is more important than with our mouth.
Yes, certainly. In fact, what you're saying is very, very true. And I think at the end of the day, it is about giving voice to the voiceless as well. And James, it's interesting to see how the governments have actually reacted. We know certain governments have actually reacted, condemning Israel for this action, but also looking at Europe in itself as well, and especially where you are. What is expected of governments at this point in time?
I mean, where I am in the United Kingdom at the moment, you've got the Prime Minister and the Foreign Secretary. I mean, they're mute on this. And there's a British flagship. It's unsurprising, though, because it's the British and the French which started it all with the Sykes-Picot Agreement and then the Balfour Declaration. And they've been sustaining and supporting and not objecting to the illegal Israeli blockade for 18 years. They've done nothing. Apart from, not just they've done nothing, they've positively supported the Israelis in maintaining this illegal blockade. So we're unsurprised. However, I am sensing from my time here that there is a shift, a significant shift from being out and about in the communities. I've just been passing by talking to people. There are a lot of people here who are very familiar, whether it be on street corners in this shop or that shop. When I'm chatting to people, they know about what's going on, not just with what's happening in the Gaza Strip, but also with the Freedom Flotilla coalition. And so we're very pleased that we've been able to increase shine a greater light and to amplify the voices, because there are plenty of voices from Palestine, but they're being silenced, muted, and unamplified. And that's part of our job. So we work with our partners. We are not numbers. The Union of Agricultural Works Committees. We work to amplify the voices, and seeing the people on the beaches, the kids, the paintings, the calls, the expectations of us coming, and then being quashed again by the Israelis, but with the British support. And you have the British government with its flights from Cyprus carrying out surveillance flights in support of the Israeli genocide. And it's not just genocide as a single word, it's mass starvation. It's the deprivation of water. It's the denial of medical supplies. It is the denial of all forms of human existence. And the British government is 100% up to its neck in the support of this. And there are people who need to face justice.
Yes, James, thank you for that. Zohar, I just want to refer to what Sümeyra spoke about, taking action. And this famous quotation from Greta Thunberg saying, we can no longer let the people in power decide what hope is. Hope is not passive. Hope is not blah, blah, blah. Hope is telling the truth. Hope is taking action. And hope always comes from the people. Now, this obviously is a very telling statement, because it's all about taking action. And you made reference earlier on to media and how the media, particularly mainstream media, has been looking at this. Now, I watched an interview with Piers Morgan with Francesca Albanese, and he actually called it a stunt. He called it attention-seeking. He called it a futile attempt. He called the flotilla a joke and a publicity stunt. Now, this is what mainstream media is actually thinking about, what is taking place. And we know for a very, very long time, in terms of mainstream media, the narratives that they have been pushing out as well with regard to the genocide. Many actually refuse to even call it a genocide. Putting all of this into perspective and looking at comments coming through from people like Piers Morgan, comments like this, what does this actually tell us about the media and how serious? And this is why I said serious questions need to actually follow from what this incident that had taken place. Just how serious is mainstream media as far as the Gaza genocide is concerned?
I think what we are facing with this genocide in particular, because it's such a live stream atrocity, is that people's sense of helplessness is increased because they are enraged, but they go out in the street and they protest and there is no change. And we're coming on to the 20th, I think maybe the 2021 month of this exactly escalation of the genocide, because the genocide in Palestine has never stopped, really. This is ethnic cleansing and intent to annihilate the Palestinian population. But the fact that we, through our action, encourage people and tell them, look, something can be done, and the fact that through participation of figures like Greta Thunberg and also Rima Hassan, we managed to draw enough media attention to our action, which will be in a way futile if it wasn't followed. If people did not know that we set sail, then really one little boat can do nothing. But one little boat can do a lot if it carries a message of encouragement to people to resist this evil and to take action in their own countries against it. And I have to say, I live here in Germany, and Germany has been lying about what's going on in Palestine for many, many years. It ignores most of the atrocities committed by Israel, but it amplifies the Israeli propaganda, trying to portray them as the victims. And so the fact that we manage to have some coverage, very biased, very false, but still coverage in mainstream German media, I think this is a proof that our action is not futile. We managed to break this media blockade. And the more people, just people from all walks of life realize that they do not have to be complicit in this genocide, that they can stand up to their government, they can do things like Palestine Action is doing, trying to shut Elbit system down, or people trying to block boats that carry weapons, dock workers who are striking and saying we will not deal with these ships that are delivering death basically in our name to Palestine. This is really the message that we have.
Yes, Zohar. Sümeyra, we've seen one of the activists who arrived in Barcelona, Sergio Toribio, slamming these actions by the Israeli government when he arrived in Barcelona. And the statement he made is, it is unforgivable, it is a violation of our rights, it is a pirate attack on international waters. Now, all of this is on record. It has been live streamed. We've seen the illegal attack, the detention of the activists, and also all of this in violation of international marine law. The law of the seas was broken. We've seen the violation of international humanitarian law in terms of the Geneva Convention. We've seen this as a war crime, which is a prohibition of humanitarian supplies. And also, at the end of the day, it's a violation of international criminal law as well. Now, these are clear and, as I mentioned, live streamed in real time, where we see these crimes against humanity unfolding. And just, looking at it from where you are, and we know the Turkish government has also slammed and condemned Israel for its actions. What are some of your thoughts? What are some of the expectations as far as all these laws that are broken. I see Sümeyra has actually gone off screen. Perhaps James, you could just take this further as well in terms of international law that Israel has actually showed total disregard for.
Israel's been violating international laws since it was established. It continues to, and the international community has failed to uphold international law. There are many international lawyers who have been saying for close to 20 months, the international law is now meaningless, is failing to take any action. And so the International Court of Justice, the very slow way in which the wheels are turning, the International Criminal Court, I mean, sure, it's issued a couple of warrants for arrest for some alleged war criminals, but they've done nothing else. So international law is absolutely failing, and national laws are failing as well. So we're looking at a potential collapse of the international legal order when it relating to all of the various topic areas which you mentioned, be it the law of the sea, the Geneva Conventions, the right of innocent passage, international humanitarian. There's so many things that are being breached at the moment, and who's holding people to account? Now, there are moves afoot in various jurisdictions to try and progress this, and we're a party to some of them, and we'll continue to be, because we won't, we'll continue to follow all avenues in order to gain justice so the Palestinian people can achieve the justice they deserve, they're entitled to, and the people who are responsible for criminal acts are held to account.